Hello again, and once again, I am Kefren with Tropic Astrology. So, after long last, I want to talk about Saturn and Scorpio and make a video about Saturn and Scorpio. It just went direct a couple weeks ago, and is at, roughly the middle of Scorpio. So it's leaving. It's been in Scorpio for the last couple years, and I've kind of touched on it here, there, and I've talked a lot about Scorpio, but I wanted to address Saturn now and Saturn's specific meaning in Scorpio, because ultimately it's very important. And when people talk about the New Age and the Ascension, Saturn being in Scorpio is a really important thing to understand in terms of spiritual ascension, because in order to kind of reach this mystic enlightened state that the gurus all talk about, there's a very intense evolution process that needs to take place on every level you can really imagine, within your mind, within your spirit, within your body, within your relationships, within society. There's so many changes taking place, and some of those can look really scary. There's a lot of frightening things happening today in the world, and if you watch the news, even if you glance at headlines online, you're gonna see, if you were to judge the world based on just those things, you would say the apocalypse is here. You would say that we're actually facing the end times if that's all you listen to. There's a lot more going on than just what they're trying to get you to think, but it looks scary. And personally, in our individual lives, a lot of the things we're confronting are very, very dark. We're confronting a lot of fears and a lot of insecurities and a lot of doubts that we've been feeling our entire lives, and maybe things are really, really coming to a head at this point in your life, and definitely in the life of the planet. So yes, I really wanted to come in and talk about this. And how I want to address this is, I want to start off with a story, because I was just reading some of the old Hindu legends, and I was reading up more on the nature of who these particular gods and goddesses are, and exactly what they are. And what I find to be really special about Hindu and Vedic culture and the mythologies therein is that the Hindu culture has a very clear understanding that these aren't gods in the sense of they're just all-powerful people sitting up in the clouds, kind of messing around with humanity, and judging them and deeming them. The Hindu philosophy really understands these gods as forces of nature, as the conscious images of the natures of fire and air, and the elemental forces, the forces of consciousness, the forces of light and darkness, and life and death. And so they're just embodiments of these greater principles that are very real and very tangible things. And so basically it's just a way of looking at those things personified, as looking at those things with their own consciousness, with their own will, with their own individual being as a part of the whole, And so, but in particular, what's been really intriguing me is the being known as Shakti. Now, Shakti is referred to as a goddess and the feminine aspect of the universe and of reality, but it's so much more. Shakti is the very energetic fabric by which all existence permeates from. And all of the goddesses, such as Lakshmi and Durga and Kali, they're all forms of the primeval goddess Shakti. And so the whole art of Tantra revolves around the union with Shakti. The art of Tantra descends from ancient Hindu scripts talking, said to be channeled from Shiva, whose divine counterpart is Shakti. And between the relationship between Shiva and Shakti, consciousness and the primal energy force, all of creation is birthed and lives and dies and rebirths, but it's a never-ending cycle, because the nature of Shakti and the nature of Shiva and the nature of consciousness is such a beautifully interwoven design that all things in creation just go on forever and ever and ever and ever, and they're in a constant state of change. That's how it's able to go on forever, is because the only reason anything dies, or all death really is just when a form breaks down and is no longer that thing. You know, it's the law of thermodynamics that energy cannot be created, destroyed. It can only transform through in and out of different shapes and sizes, and vibration rates. But it never dies, but it's always changing. So that's the fundamental archetype of Scorpio, of Pluto, is the ever-changing nature of reality. And so Pluto therefore also corresponds to Shakti, to the primal energy force that gives us all life. Classically, Pluto is known as the god of death, and Scorpio in the 8th house and all that, that's associated with sex and death. Sex and death. Why sex and death? They seem like opposite things, right? But no, they're talking about the exact same thing, because sex is a procreative act that generates life. It creates life. And death is the other end of the continuum of life. It's just a feedback loop. There's a symbol in alchemy called the Aurora Boros, which is the snake that eats its own tail. And this is a very sacred symbol in alchemy, because it's the image of the universe. It's the great ebb and flow cycle of death and rebirth and death and rebirth that just forever repeats itself on and on again. A couple of the myths in particular really taught me the nature of this energy and how consciousness interacts with it. And it's told in the legend of Dakshina Kali. Kali is the goddess of death, and she's often depicted with like a garland of skulls, holding the heads of her victims with her tongue out and blood everywhere. She's really terrifying, and I think it's so cool that these Vedas were so graphic in their depictions of the destruction and the terror that Kali embodies, and it's for a very important reason. So in the Dakshina Kali, it tells the story about how in a particular battle, Kali became so enraged in bloodlust that she began dancing through the armies of her foes, just slaying everybody. And in her madness, she became so powerful that she decimated the entire army and then was threatening to destroy the entire universe. And the thing is that Kali has the power to do so. Kali is the kinetic, destructive incarnation of the Shakti force. The Shakti force is something so powerful, so beyond our comprehension, that as it unraveled, as it began unleashing itself, as it lost its consciousness, it has the power to destroy all of creation, and it is about to, when all of the other gods petition Shiva to do something. And so Shiva appears lying on the battlefield, and Kali steps on Shiva, and as soon as she does so, all of a sudden she wakes up. She snaps out of her crazy, and she realizes that she's standing on the body of her lover. And this is one of the most iconic images of Kali, the depiction of her enraged in bloodlust standing upon the body of Shiva. And this is an extremely important symbol within Hinduism, because it describes the nature of Shakti and the nature of consciousness, and it's also a very good description of the nature of masculine and feminine and the relationship between man and woman. And in that, Shiva is representing matter. He's representing physical existence. And Kali is Shakti, the divine energy. And that without Shakti, matter is dead. It's inert. There's no life within it without Shakti. And it is only through the union of energy and matter that life exists. And so, one, this gives incredible meaning to our physical existence. It gives incredible power and incredible relevance in our place in the entire universe, having physical bodies and living on this planet in the physical reality. It's often referred to as illusionary or not real, but no, it's very, very real. It's on this continuum of an energetic spiritual reality, but it's very much a part of that spiritual reality, and it creates the spiritual reality. Non-physical energy comes from the union of energy and matter. They are one and the same, and they create one another. And so this is the relationship between Shiva and Shakti. You know, they complete one another, and it is by their union that all of creation is birthed. The masculine and feminine divine, and finding the balance within the two for each and every person on this planet is really the goal. That's the point. If you want a meaning to life, that's it. It's to discover that you are a part of this much, much greater existence. And that has everything to do with the nature of Scorpio. And you know, it's also so interesting that at this time, Pluto is in Capricorn. So Pluto and Saturn have been switching signs for all, you know, these past several years. And so their energies are so being linked right now. And Capricorn, with the nature of forming matter, with the nature of constructing shapes and tangible physical forms by which energy can live and dwell in, is exactly what life is. You know, our bodies, and understanding how to keep our bodies in a state that it can receive the energy of Shakti. You know, and that's why practices such as yoga and mantras, and you know, that's what all of these things are, meditation, that's what all these things are intended to do. They're intended, it's like fine-tuning the mechanics of your body. It's taking the energy systems, your chakras, your meridians, and it's aligning all of those so that the Shakti force can move fluently through your body. And it's that energy that does everything. It's that energy that reconfigures your DNA. It's that energy that is responsible for supporting your immune system. It's that energy that gives you good ideas. It's that energy that makes you feel serene and secure about where you are in life. It's that energy that then creates experiences that you live through, such as relationships or you know, careers or families. You know, that energy is the fuel in your vehicle. If you don't have gas in your car, it's not going to drive. Shakti is the gas in your body. It's the Kundalini force is the life that you're made out of. Without that, you're dead. Then you have no life, and the life that your spirit dwells as is somewhere else. But while it's in your body needs to maintain it, because like Kali, that energy is intense, and it can destroy if it's not balanced within your own consciousness. And it's your consciousness that does that. It's that thinking part of you that uses perspective and uses your emotions in order to get the proper flow and work with the energy of Shakti to create life and to create a fluid and dynamic and amorphous, non-fixed existence by which you can flow and adapt to whatever it is that life throws to you, because things are changing all the time, and if you can't change with them, then you're dead, you're extinct, you were not able to evolve. You know, evolution is not just this biomechanical sensation. Evolution is not just the progression of technology. Evolution within your consciousness is what's really going on here. The way you think, the way you understand the world that you live in, that's really what's happening here. And so Saturn being in Scorpio is teaching us to get the net. It's teaching us to understand that if we're not evolving our consciousness, if we're not evolving the non-physical energetic part of ourselves as much as we're evolving the external world, then we're going to die. We're going to fall apart, you know, and then we're going to come back at a time in a place where we're going to be able to do it again, because, you know, life never ends, you know, but the point is that, and what Saturn is all about is taking control. You can take control of your evolution. Can you define your own changes, or are you being changed without your consent? Are you being forced to change in ways and make decisions that you don't want to be making? You know, are you able to let go of your own preconceived notions about reality? Are you able to adopt a more fluid and open-minded perspective about things? Are you able to heal your body if it gets sick? Are you able to heal your mind if it gets sick? You know, like your own ability to evolve and adapt and become stronger and better at any given moment is being tested now with Saturn and Scorpio. So yeah, so that's really the big lesson, is just get on the evolution train and understand that you have the power to make these better changes for your own life.